Hello, word hackers. Welcome back to Reading Success Academy. I'm Paula Smith. If you don't know what a word hacker is, you haven't been around for a while, have you? A word hacker is someone who is really confident with breaking longer words down into smaller chunks to make them easier to read and easier to spell. There is no word that gets in your way, or at least you're on your journey to getting to that point. So we're looking for clues in words to help us decode them a lot faster so that it improves our comprehension and our fluency with our reading. We're going to get started with today's word of the day. All right, let's get on over there. There's our word. Okay, today's word has no special endings. Remember, special endings are groups of letters that don't sound out just right. Some examples would be shun, chur, jur, shus, jur. Any of those could be special endings. I don't see any of those on here, but if you are looking for some extra help with special endings, make sure you send me a message to hello@readingsuccessacademy.com and I can get you a list of those and some example words. All right, so we're going to jump right in here looking for some clues. I want you to kind of be a word detective here. You're looking for anything that might work together to make one sound first, since we already have our special endings out of the way. So look for groups of letters that might make one sound if we group them together. Do you happen to see that there's an AI right here? That's one of our spellings of long A. Let me make sure I got my pen. Oh, this happened to me yesterday too. Come on, pen. Play nicely. Maybe it's that one. Nope, that wasn't it. All right, come on, pen. What am I doing wrong? We need that. It worked just 5 minutes. Oh, it's working now. Okay, kind of. There it is. Okay, so we have AI. Those two work together to make a long A sound. And then you probably also notice that there's SE at the end. When you have SE at the end of a word, the E is probably not going to have its own sound. Now, I'm sure there are some words out there that do. I don't want to say always with any kind of rule because there are exceptions to everything. But whenever you see SE at the end, it's either going to be a S sound, or a Z sound, kind of like an S sound or a Z sound. Either one of those. We're not going to make a separate sound for that E. So that really kind of narrows this down a little bit so that we don't have as many letters to sound out because we've got a group here and we have a group here. Now, most of the time when you see AI in a word, it's going to be a long A sound, like in the word paint. However, it can be an sound, like in the word said and again and captain and mountain. All of those have AI in them and it's an sound. But most of the time you want to try a long A sound with that. And that's what we're going to do with this word. Since we have probably a long A sound here, and then we have another A over here, that's two vowel sounds in this word. That means it's going to have two chunks. So a chunk is part of a word that has one vowel sound in it. So since there's two vowel sounds, we have two chunks. All right, so we're going to just start sounding this word out until we think we have a chunk. And I'm going to switch over here. No, I'm going to switch to this color. This is nice. All right, we're going to say l, and then blend those sounds together. Mal, that sounds like a chunk to me. We'll draw a line in between those. So we know this chunk is mal, or at least we think so. You're not always going to know what sound to try with a vowel because there's so many different sounds for vowels, but try something. And if it doesn't work out, you can go back and change to another sound. With this letter, you could try a, ah, or all four of those different sounds. All right, so we're going to go with mal. And then we're going to start sounding out again on this side of the line. We're not going to just keep going from mal. We want to just remember that chunk, start over, and we're going to get the next chunk. A's, A's. So now we have two chunks. Mal, A's. Now you'll blend those two chunks together. Malaise, malaise. Now if you haven't heard that word before, great, you're going to learn a new vocabulary word today. All right, so this is how I would break it up. Two chunks, or if you had just gone to the A here and you said ma and then did lays, that works out too. When it blends together, it still comes together just fine. It just might take a little bit of practice with putting the accent on a different syllable. A little bit more emphasis on the next syllable. All right, let's take a look at what this word means. There we go. Malaise is a noun. It's a general feeling of discomfort, illness, or unease whose exact cause is difficult to identify. Like you can't quite put your finger on what's wrong. You could use it in a sentence like this. The country was gripped by a sense of malaise as economic conditions worsened. So bad feeling. Folks weren't feeling too good about that. All right, so what I would do with this word is I would put an eye stopper between those two chunks. And I'm marking this as I would work on the spelling of it. So I would maybe put a little shapely bubble around this. And I'm doing this, I'm going up over this eye just so that I remember that there's a taller letter in that pair of letters that I have glued together here. And then I'll use a different shape for these. Maybe I'll put a rectangle around these two. Every time I change colors or change shapes, it means that there's something different going on that I need to pay attention to in this word while I'm spelling it. All right, my friends, that is it for today. Your word of the day was malaise, and hopefully you can find a way to use that in one of your conversations today or maybe in your writing. If you come up with a great way to use it in your writing, send me an email and send that sentence to me that you came up with. You can send that to hello@readingsuccessacademy.com. I'd love to hear from you. All right, I'll see you tomorrow with the next word of the day. Bye.